Sex is the life force energy that runs through us all. Can you use sexual energy for your spiritual evolution? Or perhaps for emotional healing? Is it even possible? Clinical sexologist Dr. Martha Lee will explore all these and more on Eros Evolution on Om Times Radio.
And welcome to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meet. My name is Dr. Martha Lee, and I'm a clinical sexologist based in Singapore. My company is called Eros Coaching, and you can find me at eroscoaching.com. This show explores the link between sex and spirit, and today we have Caffyn Jesse, and we're going to be talking about the science of sex and spirit. Let me introduce her. So she's a Canadian Somatic Sex Educator, and she claims that through the erotic we have a technology of profound joy. Sex is an art and craft through which we can apprehend and share a reality where we feel at one, at peace, and fully alive. This is not something that only happens in our minds. It is an embodied experience generated by touch, love, and neurochemistry. In today's interview, Caffyn will be sharing with us aspects of her practice as a somatic sex educator. She'll be explaining how simple practices and shifts in attitude can help us integrate sex and spirit and live a commitment to joy in our lives and relationships. A little bit about Caffyn. She's a renowned sex educator who teaches the Somatic Sex Education and Sexological Bodywork program in Canada. People from around the world visit her Salt Spring Island studio on one of Canada's beautiful Gulf Islands, where Caffyn offers workshops and residential retreats. She weaves somatic sex education with traditions of sacred sexuality and lessons from contemporary neuroscience to help people learn the effects of sexual trauma and neglect. Her books, video courses, and a wealth of free online materials are available through her award-winning website at erospirit.ca. That's EROSPIRIT. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Martha. It's so nice of you to invite me.
Okay, so yes, thank you for coming. I'm very happy to have you. I interviewed your lead counterpart, Captain, who also runs the Sexological Bodywork in Canada a few weeks ago, and he suggested that I interview you as well. And I'm very interested, first of all, to find out how you got into this work.
Well, it was through my own healing journey. Yes, late in life, I was already in my 40s. I just found myself struggling with, I had years of neglect and disconnection from my sexual energy, and I gradually was healing from early life trauma, and I found people that did the work that I do now, and it was so important for me, for my own personal journey. I just felt a real calling to get involved.
Yeah, that's right. I feel that for us who do this work, we really have to be called to do it, and
yes.
It's something that we feel we have to do regardless of the difficulties.
Yes, and then we find also the joys. I mean, it's certainly a challenging field to be involved in, but every day I just feel so thankful to be able to work with people in this way at this wonderful place of being engaged so deeply with people and with spiritual aspects, with body aspects, with a wonderful combination of ways to meet people.
Yes. So in your work, you talk about neurochemistry and neuroplasticity. Can you tell us a little bit more how the science of neuroplasticity will guide us in exploring this connection between sex and spirit?
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on Om Times Radio.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle. Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. Om Times Radio, IOM FM.
And you are listening to Eros Evolution on the Om Times Radio Network. And you can share this show with your friends right now by going to this link on your browser. That's omtimes.com/mobile. With this link, you and your friends will be able to listen to this show without needing to download any app. And that's really convenient for everyone. We are on Eros Evolution talking about the science of sex and spirit with Caffyn Jesse, and she's a Canadian Somatic Sex Educator. So, Caffyn.
Yes, Martha.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so nice to be here.
Yes, it's really an honor to be with someone as prestigious and renowned as you are in the excellent work that you do. And in every episode, I always try to ask my guests what they feel is the link between sexuality and spirituality. So could you share with us your thoughts on this?
Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. I think it's so wonderful that you have this show. But, I think it's really an anomaly in human history not to honor and practice and celebrate the intersection of sex and spirit. I think that, ancient and indigenous cultures around the world do celebrate and practice and honor that, and in many different cultures. And I think the reason for that is because sex can really offer such a wonderful, unparalleled experience of joy and ecstasy and integration, and this sense of wholeness that can come to us through sexual pleasure, and we can really generate an embodied experience of universal mystery or the divine through the cultivation of sexual pleasure. Yeah, so a lot of people have experienced transcendent sexual energy at some point in their life, maybe in a new relationship or in a especially fraught relationship even. But I think these wonderful transcendent experiences are unfortunately so rare, and that we've created a kind of false scarcity around them. And people think they have to find the right relationship or learn some kind of esoteric sex skills to explore the intersection of sex and spirit. But really, it's just home. It's where we belong. Is right here, and science actually confirms this. When you read about the new neuroscience, it's actually confirming these ancient and indigenous cultural practices.
Beautiful. Yeah, so yesterday, I actually started this show because I wasn't sure about the link between sex and spirit. It was only after I finished my doctorate in human sexuality that I realized that there was a link between the two. For a very long time, I had somehow in my mind put them into two different boxes. I've always been interested in sex and sexuality, and I was also interested in all the new age stuff that I come across. And, really wasn't when I went into learning more about Tantra that I started to see the link between the two. Just yesterday, I came across this quote in the book, and it says, healing energy and erotic energy are just different forms of the same thing. And it actually came to mind water, how water comes in different forms, in liquid form, and then we have water in ice. And it's really only beginning to become clearer for me in the last year. Yeah, through all the guests that I have on this show. So, yeah. So I really like, if possible, for you to elaborate a little bit more about this neuroplasticity, if you can.
Yeah, well, we're taught to separate mind from body, and the dominant cultural paradigm really values cognitive function and ignores our body. And people grow up thinking they can and should repress their gut feelings and their body yearnings and express their sexuality in ways that answer to the voices around them or the voices in their heads. But contemporary neuroscience affirms a different understanding that there actually is no separation between mind and body, and that as a living, self-sensing, sensing being, we are embodied. So we're experiencing and evaluating the world with our bodies at all times. We're responding with our skin and our guts and our neurohormones and neurotransmitters are coursing through our bodies and regulating our visceral function and our emotions. And each person is also embedded in a world of culture and relationships and social history and the environment. So we feel and we think and we experience the world and our sexuality through the energy and information of environment and culture and relationship. So that neuroscience shows that we exist in the flow of information and spirit, and that idea that values the brain and learning and thoughts is just mistaken. It's simply mistaken.
Beautiful. And now that it's becoming clearer, what is your suggestion being a somatic sex educator for listeners out there?
Can you say again, Martha? I didn't catch.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I was asking, now that we know more about the importance of this neuroplasticity and there's no separation between mind and body, it's really becoming very clear. What can listeners do to begin working on themselves?
Well, I think, just like one simple thing. Do we have time for a little exercise?
Sure, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, just to notice that breathing in, as our lungs expand, we're pushing our abdominal organs down into the belly and the pelvic floor. And the muscle fibers of the pelvic floor actually slide apart a little wee bit. The tailbone tips up, and the bones of the pelvis move slightly apart with every breath. So then when we breathe out, the muscle fibers of the belly and the pelvic floor muscles contract. And the muscle fibers slide together, and the bones of the pelvis come a little wee bit together. So that the nerves in this nerve-rich area of the genitals are actually being stimulated with every time we breathe. So just tuning into that awareness, or what you might tune into is that there's actually no awareness. There's a numbness in your genitals, and that's very ordinary. But just to know that stimulation of sexual energy is as innocent as breath. And if we can just notice and breathe and notice our genital energy every time we breathe, our genitals can continually generate life force energy and bringing a little bit of yumminess, a little bit of sexual yumminess to all our relations.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is really profound. Just bringing our attention to our breath and being able to do that. I think you are the first person to actually describe breathing with the muscles contracting and expanding in our belly and our pelvic floor area in this way. Quite scientific, quite sexy actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And we can just tune into that any minute, and notice. Yeah, and beyond any practical instruction, just, opening our hearts to experiencing erotic energy in a different way. So just to experience this is life force energy, as I think you say in your intro to this show. But, it's a way to just be more alive and to celebrate and to heal and transform our relationship with each other and with spirit. So enlivening ourselves with every breath.
Yeah. I love what you're sharing. I really do, because even just doing this little activity that you just described, I am beginning to feel a little bit more alive, a little bit more orgasmic, and it is after all 4:28 a.m. in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
It really works. It really does work. I really feel that when I have all this sexual energy running through my body, it actually expands out beyond my body and into my energy field. And the word that actually makes me feel the most happy is orgasmic. When I feel orgasmic in and outside of my body, I feel really good, and your little exercise has just helped me to do that. So thank you.
And you have a program on orgasmic yoga coming up, you were saying, so that's so relevant. Yeah, just maybe you can tell them a bit about that.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, so I have a book. My second book is called Orgasmic Yoga, and I'm planning to start from May 22nd. this 30-day orgasmic yoga journey, and people can join this by going to Facebook and just type in Orgasmic Yoga, the book. And it's free. This journey is free, so everybody is invited to participate by masturbating every day for 30 minutes for 30 days and to document your journey. There will be people, myself included, who will be sharing what we are doing every day, and in so doing we hope to inspire people to connect with their erotic energy, and this can really change your life. So we'll talk more about the science of sex and spirit after this break.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millisers, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Live with medium Lisa Phoenix, Mediumship Messages and Musings, explores mediumship and all things metaphysical. Lisa Phoenix invites you to reach above and beyond your everyday experiences, to explore new dimensions in the spirit world. She will do live readings to connect callers to their loved ones in spirit, shares engaging stories and teachings from her own personal experience, and will have intriguing conversations with other mediums, spiritual teachers, and healers to help you understand the metaphysical world so you can connect to these forces in your day-to-day life. Join your host on this magical and metaphysical journey into the world of spirit every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Free your mind. Expand your soul. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hello and welcome back to Eros Evolution. We're talking about the science of sex and spirit with Caffyn Jesse today. She is a renowned sex educator who teaches Somatic Sex Education and Sexological Bodywork program in Canada. She is based in Canada's beautiful Gulf Islands, and she has a Salt Spring Island studio. And you can find out more about her and her books, video courses, and online materials by going to aerospirit.ca. Yes. So just before break, we were talking about orgasmic yoga, and I have a second book on orgasmic yoga, and I'm going to be doing a 30-day orgasmic yoga challenge, and it starts from May 22nd. People can find out more by going to Facebook, Orgasmic Yoga, the book. So, Caffyn, you have a question for me?
Yeah, Martha, I think it's so exciting that you have this free program coming up on orgasmic yoga, and you're such a wonderful teacher of it. And I was thinking for the folks listening to the program, they're going to be going, what the heck is orgasmic yoga? And it's one of the foundational teachings in somatic sex education, and it's basically, I call it mindful erotic practice, but often with self-pleasuring, and I'm just teaching it right now to the folks that are enrolled as studying to be somatic sex educators here and online and in Canada. And I'm just wondering about for you, Martha, how has orgasmic yoga changed your life?
When I was first introduced to the term of orgasmic yoga, when we're doing the sexological body work, there is just so much reading, so much homework, and then we had to do this 30-day orgasmic yoga masturbation, 30 minutes for 30 days challenge, and I was so resentful, so resistant. So we were told that, okay, if you can't do it for 30 days, do it for 7 days. If you can't do it for 7 days, do it for at least 3 days. So I did the bare minimum, and I was so resentful because I'm highly orgasmic, highly sensitive. I can have an orgasm in like 5 minutes or less. So for me to do it for 30 minutes is like a waste of time. So it has changed my life because it's taught me patience. It's taught me the subtleness of pleasure and sensation. It's taught me to really deepen my connection with myself, to not run away from myself and my shadow, and to really stay with myself, my discomfort, my anger, my frustration, even the memories that come up. So after some time of self-pleasure, things come up and it becomes actually a form of reflection, and that is the point where masturbation becomes meditation. And that's why I feel so passionate about it. And I've done orgasmic yoga a few times now, maybe about 4 or 5 runs of 30 days at least each time. And I noticed that my whole body is changing. I'm becoming so much more sensitive than ever. I didn't even think it was possible, but I am. And this is why I feel everyone should do it. We don't understand how important it is to love ourselves until we make ourselves do it. And then we realize, oh, actually, if I want to do anything, it's possible as long as I set my mind to it. It's really a practice of self-discipline as well, because a lot of us don't have any discipline nowadays. We are a little bit time pressed and attention deficit in some way. We always on Facebook or Twitter or our phones, and it's so important to be mindful in the way we're doing it. The essence of it changes, and our life can change. I truly believe with orgasmic yoga. So thank you for asking that question.
Well, thank you for your work, and just reflecting on how, we were talking about neuroplasticity, and there's many ways that the brain and nervous system change in response to the environment, but orgasmic yoga really works with neuroplasticity, because by mindfulness, mindful self-touch, and really focusing, like trying to train our minds to be attentive to whatever arises in our bodies during self-pleasure, and by trying innovative touch, different kinds of touch, then we're actually expanding like the areas of our brain that are capable of feeling. So the more like nerves that fire together, wire together. So orgasmic yoga can be a wonderful experience for someone like yourself who has easy access to orgasm and feels like it's a waste of time. For myself, I don't usually have easy access to orgasm. It's quite hard for me to connect with my orgasm. I need a lot of touch, a lot of stimulation, and a long time and everything. But by doing this mindful erotic practice, then you build more capacity for feeling in your nerves. You're actually creating physical, more connections, and the synapses at the end of nerves are actually growing, and the areas of your brain that are able to process touch are actually becoming thicker and more neurons.
Great. I love what you're sharing, because that I will explain why I become more and more sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely feel I'm a lot more energetic than before.
Nice.
Okay, so let's explore a little bit what you think about the relationship between love and sex.
Well, I think love is a really important part of exploring what's possible for us sexually. So I might not be thinking of love in the same way as our listeners, because from a somatic sex educator point of view, love is a biological process. So we're constantly responding biophysically and neurochemically to loving interaction with others, or to the absence of loving interaction. So love is so crucial to our survival as newborn infants. We're so intensely vulnerable, and we need the care of others to create enough safety for our bodies and our brains and our nervous systems to evolve into somewhat independent systems, somewhat independent human beings. And we use our caregivers to regulate our nervous system's arousal, and relationship or lack of loving relationship get wired into our nervous system at that fundamental survival level. So I think, love, people need to love and be loved in ways that are very biophysical, and that we experience sexual ecstasy and sexual possibilities in the context of caring relationship and connected touch. And that's what helps us generate the neurochemicals that help us feel peaceful and excited and euphoric and fully alive. But also novelty and sense of loss of control, sense of danger, and that's another aspect of our nervous system's aliveness. So if we can create ways to safely experience that kind of dimension of nervous system arousal, then that can help us experience more pleasure. So I'm thinking like loving relationships that welcome challenge and excitement are so important to us, but not that we all need romantic love for one special person. I think there's like false scarcity around love, just like there's false scarcity around sexual ecstasy and sex and spirit, that we can imagine new forms of loving relationship and erotic expression, carrying sexual connections with erotic friendships or erotic service providers, or that we can dream and build an erotic community. So if we really free our minds from that paradigm of the romance, the one special person, or the other paradigm for sexual expression is just like a soulless appetite, soulless hookup, that we can really create new possibilities for loving connection and loving sexual connection that are really important to the exploration of sex and spirit.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I was beginning to think about the sexological body workers when you was talking about it, and they suddenly create a safe space of providing erotic touch without violating pre-established boundaries. So, for instance, if somebody wants to have an erotic massage without having an orgasm, then this is when they can play with their sexual energies and in a safe space where maybe they feel that their partner is not able to provide because their partner is not skilled, the partner is not willing, or there's no partner.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that to have a profession where you can have clear boundaries and safety and you know that you're going to find acceptance, that you're going to find celebration of the erotic, and someone that can actually teach you techniques for cultivating sexual energy, whether with yourself or with others, in a really loving way. That's something that we can offer as a profession, and I think it really is an important and world-changing profession.
Yeah, I've taken the sexological bodywork training twice actually, and we'll talk more about this after the break.
Excellent. Okay, thanks, Martha.
Thank you.
Free your mind with Om Times Radio, IOM FM.
Looking for inspiration?
Want to be inspired?
Not sure where to go?
Find Mark and Kim every Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on Inspired Living.
Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience and all things spiritual.
Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business. Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio, IOM FM.
And we are into the last 15 minutes of this show. So make sure you read more about Caffyn and her work and Somatic Sex Education by visiting her website, erospirit.ca. That's erospirit.ca. She has a book called Erotic Massage for Healing and Pleasure. It's available on Amazon, and she has a great YouTube channel with almost 2 million views of her teachings on sex. You can find her at Caffyn J. That's CAFFYNJ. And also on Vimeo. That's VIMEO. Eros Spirit. And she also offers a lot of free and low-cost teachings through her website, erospirit.ca shop, and you can sign up for her free and occasional email where she will be sharing tips for better sex. In fact, if you sign up for her e-newsletters, you will get a free sheet of tips to better sex. She's very generous in offering to listeners a discount code which you will get if you email her. If you email her through her website, erospirit.ca, you will get a discount code, and you will be able to get her online course on erotic massage at 50% off, and that will be $10 only. Be sure to follow Caffyn on Twitter. That's Caffyn Jesse, and also on Facebook. That's caffyn.jesse. So quite a lot there. If you can't remember everything that I said, just remember to go sign up for a newsletter at erospirit.ca. So just before break, we were talking about sexological body workers and how they can create a safe space for their clients to explore their erotic energy. So I was going to say that even though I have done the sexological bodywork training twice, I actually do not offer touch or nudity in my work, which means I don't do hands-on touch. Instead, what I do is I take what I have learned from the sexological bodywork and I teach people using the use of, through the use of sexual aids like a sex toy, a dildo, and a vulva cushion, to explain how they can begin to do this with their partners. And then I supplement it with online training videos. And it's a matter of choice. So there are educators who are doing that, like myself, and there are also people who are taking the sexological bodywork training, intensive as it is, even though it's meant for professionals. There are actually people who are taking it for their personal development. Okay, so Caffyn, I just want to ask very quickly. You are now focusing very much on teaching teachers, and you teach people who are going to be sexual healers and sexological body workers. So what qualities? Yes.
I have a 6-day program that I do just in my studio. That's for people that are interested in more a personal development and learning erotic massage and erotic energy cultivation. And it's called Intimacy Education Program. So that's where people come and stay with me. It's quite a nice low-cost option for people that are interested in an introduction to the principles and practices of somatic sex education. And I work with an art therapist, Mehdi Dervish, and we offer this program together. So we really dive deep into shadow aspects and different barriers that might be in between us and our full erotic expression, as well as talk about some of the barriers and some of the joys of working with others or playing with others with erotic massage. So that's a nice program. And then I teach the certified sexological bodywork training and certified somatic sex educator training as well. And those are much more, you were saying that the hardest courses that you've ever done in your life, more, require some real dedication of time, 4-month programs, 20 hours a week, and really quite challenging. Yeah. So for people that feel a calling to get involved in this world in some way, then I do have quite a few things that I offer.
Yeah.
My $20 book up to these $5,000 courses.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so you have books, you have your YouTube, you have online videos, and then you have this 6-day program and also the 4-month program. So you really have established yourself by having all these different offerings. So for those people who are interested to get into somatic sex education, what qualities do you think they need to have in order to be good in what they want to go into?
Well, I think, I was thinking about that. What is it? Because we interview a lot of people for the training. And I think, it's such an important profession, that like a way to help people heal the broken trust of abusive and disconnected relationships, and really meeting people in in this matrix of body, mind, spirit, and emotions. And we have many people that are really good at it, that they don't have formal education. And we have PhDs and people who are professional psychologists and, well, like yourself being a PhD and everything. So we have a real range of people. And I think everybody brings their special gifts, and we're really co-creating this profession together. Mm-hmm. But one thing I think that is super important is that you need to be a safe and loving person. Mm. So I think, being like open-hearted and willing to accept people in many different ways of gender expression and sexual identity and sexual history and so many things that society meets with disapproval and fear. You have to not be that, not have that dominant cultural attitude, and really be willing to be a safe and loving person, no matter what the client that you're working with is going to bring you. So I think that's number one. What do you think, Martha? You've been through the training twice and know so many people in this field.
No, I'm very, very impressed and touched by what you're saying, to be a safe and loving person. I would have thought the first thing would be integrity. Yes. The ability to really value yourself and know who you are, what you stand for, and to not waver, when clients ask you to do things that wasn't pre-established, and also things that violate your own boundaries. Having the integrity is very important, I feel.
Well, I agree. It is important, and I think it's something that our professional community supports each other in being strong that way. And so, rather than something that you come in with, it's something that really it's something that we co-create through having a profession and a community of mentors and peers that will really support each other in maintaining integrity in all our relationships.
Yeah. Because if you have your safe and loving person, then all they need is to have the skills, and then they will have the confidence.
Yes, and with the support of a professional community and standards of practice and of having the education and the knowledge, then that's so empowering, isn't it?
Yeah. We're just going into the last few minutes of the show. You wanted to talk about the importance of yes?
The importance of yes. Of feeling our yes, feeling our no. Yeah. Well, yeah, so often we get disconnected from feeling our inner yes and trusting our inner no. And we go into enduring unwanted touch or enduring things that we haven't asked for and don't want. So I think that's a foundational teaching for all of us to really be able to tune into the yes and the no and the maybe, and being able to change our mind at any minute.
Yeah. And one can practice that just by being aware of what you're already beginning to share, I feel. Mm-hmm. Like checking into their bodies, what they feel like eating, what's their authentic yes and no. Like that
nice.
is a small practice by itself.
Yeah, and how our bodies express yes and no. And why, when we're expressing yes and no in ways that aren't really serving us too. So yeah, just tuning into that embodied expression of yes and no, and gaining more choice around being able to choose what really is pleasurable in way that has integrity and authenticity and reaches all the way down to our genitals.
Beautiful. So we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you so much, Martha. It's a real honor to speak with you. You're so well loved and respected in our community, and really thank you for all the work you do.
Be sure to go to her website, erospirit.ca, next week.